They had everything Dubai promised. The address, the lifestyle, the tax-free income, the skyline view from an apartment that costs more per month than most people earn in a year. And they left, not for London, not for Singapore, not for some obvious next destination on the global wealth circuit. They left for Malaysia. And when I asked them why, the answers shocked me. Not because they were complicated, because they were so simple that I couldn't believe nobody was talking about them. But wait, before we begin, please subscribe to ensure that you never miss out on any of my essential stuff. Comment, I subscribe below, and I will personally welcome you to our community. With that said, let's get started. Let me tell you how this started. I kept noticing a pattern in expat communities online, forums, Facebook groups, digital nomad spaces, people who had done Dubai, properly done it, not just visited, but built lives and businesses and bank accounts there, quietly asking questions about Kuala Lumpur, about the Malaysia, my second home program, about what it actually costs to live well in Penang versus what it costs to live well in the marina. At first, I thought it was a fringe thing. A few contrarians looking for an alternative narrative, but the pattern kept repeating, and the people asking weren't broke. They weren't fleeing failure. They were, by any conventional measure, winning, and they were looking at the exit. So I started asking questions. And this is where things get interesting. Before I tell you what they said, I need to give Dubai its due, because the story only makes sense if you understand what these people were leaving. Dubai is one of the most remarkable human constructions on Earth. I don't say that loosely. A city pulled from desert sand within a single lifetime, now home to one of the world's busiest airports, a global financial center, and a skyline that makes architects feel inadequate, zero income tax, world-class infrastructure, a safety record that makes most Western cities look chaotic by comparison. For a certain kind of ambitious person, Dubai is the answer before you've even finished asking the question. You want to build wealth fast? Come here. You want to live large on an income that will be gutted by taxes elsewhere? Come here. You want to be surrounded by other people operating at full ambition? Dubai is where they congregate. The pitch is real. The delivery is largely real. But here's what nobody tells you. Dubai is a city optimized for accumulation. And accumulation, it turns out, is not the same thing as living. The first person I spoke to was a British entrepreneur. Built a consulting business in Dubai over 6 years. Good money. Great lifestyle on paper. He moved to Kuala Lumpur 14 months before we spoke. I asked him what tipped it. He was quiet for a moment. Then he said, I realized I hadn't made a single local friend in 6 years. Not one Emirati. Not one person whose family had been in Dubai for more than a decade. Everyone I knew had arrived recently and was planning to leave eventually, including me. He paused. When everyone around you is temporary, you become temporary too. And I got tired of living like I was always about to leave. At first, that didn't seem like a big enough reason. A social observation. A feeling, not a spreadsheet justification for uprooting a life. But the more people I talked to, the more that same note appeared, in different words, from different backgrounds, but always the same note. A Lebanese businessman who had spent 8 years in Dubai described it this way. Dubai, he said, is a hotel. An extraordinary, 5-star, impeccably managed hotel. Everything works. Everything is available. The service is flawless. But you are always a guest. Your visa is tied to your income. Your residency is tied to your employer or your investment threshold. The moment your economic utility changes, the moment the business struggles, the moment the job ends, the moment the numbers shift, the hotel politely shows you the door. I built a company there, he told me. Employed 40 people. Paid everything on time for 8 years. And I never once felt like the city was mine. I felt like I was renting it. He moved to Malaysia 2 years ago under the MM2H program. Malaysia, my second home. Long-term residency. Renewable. Not tied to employment. For the first time, he said, I feel like I'm somewhere I'm allowed to stay. But here's what nobody tells you about that feeling. It changes everything about how you operate. This is the part that surprised me most. I expected the millionaires who left Dubai for Malaysia to talk about cost of living. And yes, they mentioned it. KL is dramatically more affordable than Dubai at every level. A meal that costs $30 in Dubai costs $3 in Malaysia. A comfortable apartment in Mont Kiara runs a fraction of comparable Dubai rent. The purchasing power differential is significant and real, but cost wasn't the driving force. Not for the people at this level. The driving force was something harder to quantify. One woman, a South African investor who had lived in Dubai for 5 years before relocating to Penang, described it as the difference between a city that performs wealth and a country that produces life. In Dubai, she said, everything is about the signal, the car you drive, the building you live in, the restaurant you're seen at. The city runs on status, and the status never stops running. You get on the treadmill and the treadmill speeds up, and you can either keep pace or admit you can't. And admitting you can is not really an option in that environment. She moved to Penang, bought a heritage shop house in Georgetown, started a small business she cared about. I earn less than I did in Dubai. I'm happier than I have ever been in my adult life. Those two facts took me a long time to put in the same sentence without feeling like I'd failed. That's when everything changed in how I understood this story. Because this is not really a story about Malaysia versus Dubai. This is a story about two completely different definitions of success. And what happens when you've achieved enough of one version to start questioning whether it's the version you actually wanted. Dubai sells a very specific dream, and it delivers on that dream with extraordinary efficiency. The dream is maximum output, maximum reward, maximum signal. Work hard, earn large, live visibly. The city is the scoreboard, and the scoreboard is always updating. For a season of life, that dream is intoxicating. Many of the people I spoke to described their Dubai years as genuinely important, formative, the place where they built the foundation. But here's what nobody tells you about foundations. They're meant to be built on, not lived in, and at some point, different for everyone, impossible to predict in advance. The foundation stops feeling like a launching pad and starts feeling like a cage made of marble. Malaysia offers something Dubai structurally cannot: ordinariness. The particular piece of a place where not everything is a performance, where you can eat an extraordinary meal at a plastic table under fluorescent lights and feel no pressure to document it, where your neighbor isn't calculating your net worth from your car, where the city does not require anything from you except your presence. A Malaysian Chinese entrepreneur who had spent 4 years in Dubai before returning home said something I haven't been able to stop thinking about. Dubai is the most impressive waiting room I've ever been in, he told me. Everyone is waiting to make enough, waiting to go back home, waiting to move somewhere else. Very few people are actually there. They're physically present, but mentally already somewhere else. He came back to KL, opened a small cafe in Bangsar, earned significantly less than his Dubai peak. I'm here now, he said. That's the whole thing. I'm actually here. I want to be precise about what I'm not saying. I'm not saying Dubai is hollow. I'm not saying the people who love it and thrive in it are wrong. Ambition is real. Accumulation serves real purposes. There are seasons of life where a city that demands your best and rewards it accordingly is exactly what you need. But there's a growing number of people, quietly, without press releases, who have reached the summit of that particular mountain and looked around and realized the view wasn't what the brochure promised. Not because the mountain was fake, because they climbed and found out at the top that what they actually wanted was a different kind of terrain entirely. Lower elevation, more texture, more noise and more mess, and more genuine human contact. A place where the infrastructure is slightly less perfect, but the interaction is significantly more real. A country where you're allowed to just be a person rather than an economic proposition. The most expensive thing in Dubai, it turns out, isn't the rent. It's what you pay in self-performance. In the constant, exhausting, invisible tax of being impressive in a city that only speaks that language. Malaysia doesn't ask for that payment. And for a specific kind of person, the kind who has already proven what they needed to prove, that is worth more than the skyline, more than the tax rate, more than the address. It is worth the feeling of finally, genuinely, being somewhere, not passing through, not accumulating, not waiting, just there. I want to know which side of this you're on. Because I think most people watching this feel the pull of both. the ambition that Dubai rewards, and the groundedness that Malaysia offers. And I think very few people talk honestly about the tension between them. Where are you in that tension? Tell me in the comments. And if this kind of content, the kind that asks the question underneath the question, is what you've been looking for, subscribe. There's more coming. And it only gets deeper from here.